It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Fantha Tracks TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine indeed. Welcome to the show for the 20th of October. It's the week where Donald Trump got a job serving fries in McDonald's. And beyond that, there's been a lot of happenings in the Star Wars galaxy. A lot of news to discuss. New York Comic Con is on the go. Star Wars Celebration promotion is starting to ramp up. And to discuss all the news of the week, joining me as always from FactorTracks.com, Mr. Paul Naylor.
Hello, Brian. You okay, my friend?
Yeah, I'm really good, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Oh, all good here. We escaped most of the storm that was supposed to be blowing the country around. And about yourself, did you have anything there?
It's heading my way as we speak.
Oh,
if the show goes off the air in the next hour, it's because there's been a power cut.
Hey, that gives us an excuse.
The winds were getting a little bit strong about an hour ago, so it's still kind of blustering away. But I think I'm going to be okay. I think it's going to hit the west coast of Scotland more than the east.
Good man.
So,
Good man.
not for us this time. Mr. Newbold is always in the chat. Join us in the chat. Leave your comments again as we're talking about the news. We want to hear what you guys think, what's happening Star Wars wise, all your thoughts, and we'll include as many of them in the show as we go. We've got a lot to talk about, Paul.
We certainly have.
See what's coming up.
So on tonight's show, we'll be looking behind the magic at Deadpool and Wolverine, because there was an incredible amount of work involved with the team behind the Star Wars projects.
Then Eastpak have got a new Ranger luggage. If you're planning a Star Wars trip such as Celebration, you might be looking for some new bags. So we've got all the latest from them. I've
got my eye on the Wookiee one. Very nice. Then it's over to Jabba's court. There's less than 50 days to go until we get Skeleton Crew. So we want to sort of discuss, what do we want from the Skeleton Crew? What are our expectations? What are our fears? But yeah, that's what we'll have a look at.
Formula One is on at the moment, I think, in America. Yep. The Alpine team have got some Indiana Jones livery if you're watching a race at the same time as you're watching GMT. Not instead of, I almost said instead of. At the same time, you've got two screens going. One
Split screen.
One with us. You might see Indiana Jones spin past. We'll be showing you what the team's looking like a little bit later on in the show.
And if you're not watching that and you're watching this, you'll also be able to hear us talk about Mads Mikkelsen. He's on his way over to Celebration. And there's a lot of Mads Mikkelsen, Galen Erso stuff knocking around in the news at the moment.
Yep, so we've got covering all that. And of course, as I mentioned, New York Comic Con has been ongoing this weekend. This week, we're going to focus on all the literature announcements from the show. There's some toy announcements as well from Hasbro. We'll cover that on next week's show, but if you can't wait till then, of course, you can head to factortracks.com and you'll get all the latest.
We've got it all there.
News every single day, so you'll see it all there. So a lot to discuss, Paul. It's a busy week.
Yes. I think there's even a few more bits and bobs in between that as well. But yeah, it's
There
all
is.
good.
We should head straight into. I'm losing all the graphics there. We should head straight into the news here. And first up, Deadpool and Wolverine, Paul.
Yeah, yeah. So you've not seen it, have you? The
No,
film.
I'm way behind on the Marvel franchise. I've worked on one of the Marvel franchise films, and would you believe it? Long time ago now. But yeah, I'm way behind. So as far as I'm concerned, this shouldn't be happening. How can this possibly be happening? Wolverine's dead.
I mean, it's an odd one. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'd say it's probably my least favorite of the Deadpool films, but it is good. It is good, and I love some of the Wolverine stuff as well. I think Logan's probably one of the best Marvel films ever made. But um, but yeah, it's a great film, and it's nice to see just how much involvement there was from the people behind Star Wars too. So this is obviously some of the behind the scenes stuff that we're seeing here now on the screen. Um, it's amazing what they can actually do these days. It just looks so realistic. Um, I don't know whether they got to use the volume at all, whether that's anything to do with the VFX. Do you know,
Yeah,
Brian?
I believe it did. Because
That's what it looks like, isn't
yeah,
it? Yeah,
it was shot at Pinewood, I think, or it was at least shot in England at the very least.
yeah, yeah.
And,
It looks amazing.
I always find it impressive the layers upon layers upon layers of detail
Yeah,
get added to these.
yeah. And then they can isolate certain parts of a person or a scene like they're doing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so impressive. Sorry, I'm watching
You're
it.
slipping back into the cinema mode of watching the film. I was under the
Yeah,
impression that these guys were arch enemies, but they kind of team up a little bit in the movie, I believe.
yeah. I mean, it's basically a comedy, but it's a very dark comedy. There's a fantastic sequence where you expect that it's Captain America that's coming into the storyline, but it's actually not. That's very well done. But yeah, it's just a fun romp. I mean, even if this wasn't canon, it wouldn't matter because it's that good. It's just a great fun film. But seeing how they build it here, what's your thoughts on when you see these behind the scenes things, Brian? Do you
I've
think it
become
spoils the illusion,
I've
or
become kind of obsessed a little bit with the ILM's new podcast, which you can get on the ILM YouTube as well.
yeah,
Um, which I love to learn how things are done. And I love the way that ILM have been releasing these kind of videos over the last few years, not just
yeah,
on their Star Wars projects, but on all the projects they're working for. And you've seen a marked change in the way that ILM do their social media, and they're much more, I don't know if you can say it, much more independent company, and that they're not shy about promoting the projects that they're working on, even when it's not a Disney project.
yeah.
Um, And so I've enjoyed seeing that on their social media and the way that it's kind of celebrate the work that they've been doing. And as Mr. Newbold says there, Lighter Dark is the name of the podcast. A very, very good podcast.
He
Um,
knows everything. He knows
is it
everything. Oh,
Lighter
Twinkle
Darker?
Toes, as we call him now.
Mr. McHugh, I think it is Darker Lighter. I think it is
Yeah.
Darker Lighter. I think Mr. Newbold, as usual, Mr. Newbold's always wrong with the facts. Never trust him. Never trust him.
He was close. He was a lot closer than I would have guessed.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Darker Lighter.
I definitely trust Paul over Mark.
Yeah,
Definitely.
100%. And it's great to find out how they do it, and it's skills that I'm never going to learn. I like computers and I like mucking about with and learning things,
Yeah.
but it's next level.
Oh,
What these
absolutely.
guys are doing, and it's to the point that they're creating things that I don't notice, if that makes sense.
No, no, I know what you mean.
Which
Yeah, the difference
it's
between what's
incredible
filmed.
because if it wasn't there, you would notice it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, it
yeah,
is. I mean, that's the beauty of it, though, isn't it? If you can't distinguish between what's reality and what's been actually put in there by a computer graphic, well, then
yeah.
They've done their job.
It's kind of been the thing I've been disappointed about a little bit in the new era Star Wars productions, that we're not getting the behind the scenes stories that we used to. And I can understand why they don't want to whilst they're still producing these things, and because they're using unused content from potentially one project can be used in the next project kind of thing. And I get it, and I get people who are still active in their careers not necessarily wanting to discuss things perhaps until they're more established or retired. Oh no, Mr. Newbold was right.
Oh no,
that's crushing. I was with Paul. I'm sticking with Paul. Well, Rick, if we're going to write to ILM, suggest to change the name.
Paul's come up with a better idea, so we're going to go with that. Sorry, Mark, you're wrong.
Damn it. But it's. I can understand them. People are still in the middle of their careers, not wanting to necessarily put their name in things to certain things and discuss certain things. But yeah, I missed the behind the scenes, so I've really enjoyed what ILM are doing, and they've done on their podcast. I think we're up to 4 episodes now. That they've done, quite a wide variety of projects that they've worked on and gone really in depth into it. I guess only part of it that kind of misses. It's very audio based rather than video based. In large chunks, which I kind of want to see more. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the round tables that they did for the Mandalorian sort of behind the scenes. Those were really good. Those were really good. But I think they can almost show too much of how it's done.
Yes, there is an element of that.
It can spoil it.
Sometimes it's nice not to know. It's like the Mandalorian, and you watch the Mandalorian, and was like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And then, I don't think any of us were thinking anything like the volume until we saw it. Yeah,
I would love to see the volume in person. Absolutely.
Mr. Booker as well. He loved the first episode as well. So, yeah, definitely. ILM, I think, are definitely doing the right thing in terms of what they're doing in terms of promotion of the projects they worked on, and just the the whole Deadpool Wolverine is still hugely popular.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people love seeing just how some of those scenes were created.
Well, good for them.
Yeah. Next in the news, we have not Deadpool Wolverine. I've had enough of that. More Deadpool Wolverine. If you want to pack your Deadpool and Wolverine DVD, do you still do DVDs? Maybe not.
Oh, Blu-ray or something, isn't it? There's about to be a tin or something.
Yeah. About to be a steel version, surely. Anyway, you can put it in one of your Eastpak Star Wars bags that have now been released. Mr. Newbold giving us some more facts. We better throw it on there because he'll be upset if we don't. Deadpool will just pass Barbie this weekend at US box office.
No.
Yeah.
Good.
I'd rather have a Barbie in my luggage.
No.
Yeah, so Eastpak have announced a whole new range of bags. Some nice ones, some not so nice ones, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A little bit of a mix. Coming in ranging, these ones ranging between 65 for the smaller backpacks, 85 for the big one on the right.
Not cheap.
Not cheap. And you can get the big transit kind of pack bag, which is a big pool bag, as well at $120.
Yeah.
But I would call it bum bag. They still get called bum bags. You still call them that, I think. And the same kind of designs as you can in the backpacks at $35 each.
Now the chewy one,
the ones that I think will probably sell the most. All priced at $150 each, which is their padded packer bags, as they like to call them.
I'll go with the chewy one, definitely.
Definitely. Although I quite like the dark side one in the middle. It's kind of got a bit of class to it as well.
Well, you're all about the Empire. That's what you're all about. You don't like droids. You like the Emperor. Now, look at this.
Now, I need a new case, right? But only if I'm going to Celebration Japan. I haven't quite made my decision. I'm going to have to make it this week. because I was left with a BB-8 case, much to my horror, that was gifted to me. So I shouldn't complain too much. But it's now broken after my trip to Finse in Norway at the start of the year. It's just holding itself together. And I look
Conveniently
forward to
got
the
broke.
day when I can drag it outside and burn it. Right? So I need. I see Mr. Newbold saying, "I love that case." I don't. I was looking forward when I heard that Eastpak were doing stuff. I thought, well, they might do a nice case, and this one's just too bland for me.
It is. I mean, that's just a white case.
And
Yeah.
I generally like stuff that you can sort of get away with being Star Wars, but maybe people that don't know unless they know get it. So something that's quite subtle. So
Yeah.
I kind of thought, okay, they might do something nice, but this is just too subtle, too plain for me.
Way too subtle. Yeah, that's taken very, very little thought, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
These are available to the UK. It doesn't initially appear apparent on their website, but if you go to our article, which is in the show notes, there's a link there as well. Paul, he's ordered one. What one did Paul order? The Galaxy Far, Far Away. And they arrived really quick. Ordered it last weekend and it arrived on Friday. Very happy with them.
Nice.
Let's go back and see what one.
So Paul's gone for the Galaxy Far, Far Away one. So he's gone for that. Cool.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
I dig that one. I kept the best, I think, to last though, which is this one. I think they're still called fanny packs. I think that's still okay. I'm going with that. So you can get a Yoda fanny pack. And you know what? I kind of dig how nice it looks. I could never wear it myself, but yeah, I kind of dig that. I think that one I'll sell at $65. And Mr. Newbold makes a good comment. If they released the furry one, with a tiny.
No.
So yeah, I think that there's nice ones within it. I like the one that Paul's gone for. That's a good choice, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I like the Yoda one, but I was needing a new case. Not one for me. Maybe they'll do another range before springtime. I need something. Any recommendations for Star Wars large suitcases? Send them my direction. I need an idea of what to get.
You just need about 15 really large bags for life, don't you, from Lidl or Aldi?
That's what you need. Something from the middle aisle, the middle of Lidl. At this point, I think it's time that we headed to Jabba's court, don't you think?
Let's go. Jabba's court.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, it went there. It didn't. Quickly, I had to manually intervene there. Something went wrong in the internet. But we're here. We're here in Jabba's court, and it shows you that we're live as part of Good Morning Tatooine as well. If you're only watching this video, so technical things do happen. We're less than 50 days to go, and we're asking the question: what do you want from the Skeleton Crew to deliver? It's a difficult question for me, because who's Skeleton Crew for? It's not for my age group, it's for kids. But is it being marketed for kids? Because at the moment, really, the only promotion has been at Star Wars Celebration, which, you get kids go to, but it's primarily 90% adult audience. And Emperor Magazine, which I don't think kids are picking up. So...
Well,
what audience are they chasing? They need us. They need the older fans, obviously, to tune in to get numbers. But is it being targeted towards kids yet?
I don't think it's really been targeted that well at all, really, has it? Considering it's only sort of a matter of weeks away. When there's other projects which we'll go on to soon, such as the Indiana Jones car at the Formula One, that is having way more money thrown at it in the marketing department than this is.
I kind of have this horrible feeling that they've consigned this to just being a little bit of a write-off show.
Oh no, please no, please. I mean, that's what I desperately don't want it to be. I've got reservations about what it will be, but I hope that it will be something that, whilst they might not be able to do a second season to, because the time between this being filmed and the kids will have grown so much. If it's a massive success, they'll have to do some sort of spin-off from it, I guess. But it'd be very difficult to say, right, this is the next year, because the kids will be that much older. Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. Yeah, it is a nostalgia. I mean, it's meant to be very much an Amblin kind of production, isn't it? It's heralding back to the ETs, the Goonies of the world, all that kind of thing. And yeah, the problem is, will that translate into the 2020s?
They did kind of indicate that they're starting to record some sort of videos and promotion for it, because social media account posted a lovely graphic that they'd made of 50 Neils to celebrate the fact it was 50 days of Skeleton Crew to go. And StarWars.com replied to it with a video. We can play the video now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So when I was at Celebration and the kids came out onto the stage and was sat there watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was at Celebration, the kids were there watching it while they were sat on stage, and they were understandably excited because apparently that was the first time they'd seen the trailer.
Yep.
I don't know. Even then, I got this niggling doubt, Fingers crossed. I hope it's really good. I mean, Jude Law is a brilliant actor, so it should be good.
But in fairness to Cybercat on social media, she did more to trigger some kind of interaction with her graphic. Give her a follow, because she was entertaining in what she did.
Oh, yeah.
And it was weird that StarWars.com would reply to that with a video. And so it's a reply, so it doesn't fall into people's timelines. And it's just like, yeah, that's kind of just like weird. But yeah, I'm kind of, there's a slight factor of, oh, this is going to be irritating fear to Skeleton Crew. But what I think needs to happen in Skeleton Crew is controversial. But, your enemy is going to be the pirates. And let's just say it's going to be an Amblin-esque kind of project. So let's look at the Goonies. You had the Fratellis. They established they were evil by them breaking out of jail and having a police chase that Chunk would watch from McDonald's, where Donald Trump was serving up the fries. So yeah, immediately in the start of the program, you establish who the baddies are. Well, you're going to have space pirates as the baddies. You've got to establish them as evil. The only way to do it is to kill a child. So that's first episode. One of these little children's going to be a one episode and done. That's what I feel.
I think Neil's going to take a blaster in the face, isn't he?
That's what I think needs to happen. I found out this week that he's not of the same alien species as the piano player in Return of the Jedi.
He's not a Max Rebo.
He's not a Max Rebo. He's his own thing.
Oh, well, that's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, Mr. New will make an interesting point here. If the kids get out in the chat shows, but Jude Law is actually a very good actor to have alongside these kids, to be fair.
Yeah. We'll see.
So, what do you want Skeleton Crew to deliver? You want Neil to take a blaster to the face.
Should Fanta Shall we get Phantom Tracks to mock that up and
Yeah.
send loads of Blaster Face and see if we get a nice letter back?
Yeah. I just feel there's got to be one of them's got to be one episode and done. It's kind of feels like it's going to happen. You've got to establish the enemy. Mark makes a great point. It's been in my thought from the start. You need to have the Galaxy's Far, Far Away version of the Truffle Shuffle, which you need to keep Neil in it because Neil's the perfect candidate to do that. He is your chunk.
Do you think that's going to happen? I bet you Mark's predicted something there. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, terrible puns. He apparently Mark's in pain. He's broken a bone in his foot, but the terrible jokes still here, I'm afraid. Hashtag blaster to the face. Yeah. But yeah, you've got to make this project work. You need the kids clearance to who's the goodies, who's the baddies, and apparently Jude Law's a little bit grey area in the middle because the kids don't trust him because he's kind of this stranger with magical powers. At least according to the promotions we've heard already. So he's he's I don't know, he's he the sloth of the series. Jude Law. I don't know if he's ever been called sloth in his life, but I'm going to go for it. He just looks like sloth, doesn't he? That ugly guy, Jude Law's.
So if you get the chance to interview him, you're going to tell him that,
yeah. You've been cast as sloth, Jude.
do you think we'll get another trailer?
I think it needs another trailer just as a launch because it feels a little bit flat.
It does, yeah. I
kind of get the feeling it's got the same kind of promotion that Solo got. And to me, Solo didn't get the promotion it needed, but it was actually a fantastic project then. I have a little bit of hope in that we've got such an amazing group of directors on this project that they've created something really special. I just think it's going to struggle to find an audience because I don't think your adult audience are necessarily looking for a project that is a bunch of little kids. It's a little bit like the criticism the Phantom Menace got back in the day, where you had little Anakin, and George said that he knew straight away it would get criticised because of the age of little Anakin, but that's the story what to tell from that age group. And the Phantom Menace has obviously gone on to be well loved in the years later. Kind of feel this one might be a bit of a sleeper as well, and it may become really well respected. And so obviously, I mentioned it about the directors, and it's going to be in Empire magazine on the 24th, a day after my birthday. People, by the way, if you want to send me well wishes this week. What a group of directors have got in the project. It's quite unbelievable, to be perfectly honest.
It is, yeah. I just think that if it's going to take 20 years for people to warm to this, like they did with the Phantom Menace, I'm going to be very, very old.
Well, my feeling is it's going to release at the start of December. It's 2 episodes. I think it runs 8 episodes. I think it is in total.
Right.
It's going to be all over by early New Year. That this could be the project that finds its audience between Christmas and New Year. So not necessarily on the day of release, but it's the kind of thing that maybe families watch over the Christmas period. It's kind of like that family-friendly, the whole family can watch kind of program.
It might even
Mary Berry cooking some kind of Christmas cake.
It might benefit from people waiting till all the episodes are released and then just sort of
that's kind of what I'm feeling. Chris David there saying he's really looking forward to it. I kind of get the feeling that this is the kind of one that won't necessarily be celebrated week on week as it's released, but in the long term, people will look back and say, Skeleton Crew was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And who knows? I mean, there might be some characters introduced into this or reintroduced into this that have significant roles in it, and this show might have more importance in the scheme of things than we realise at the moment.
Yeah. Do you want it to venture into the Mandoverse more than just the pirates, or even
I do.
into the like. I think the story was that the kids find this abandoned ship and they go on this adventure and then cover this Jedi along the way. There was a hint that they maybe end up on the same planet that we visited in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
It could end up.
I would love to see more stuff brought into it, just to sort of like give it that sort of
significance.
That connected tissue, that significance, that relevance, definitely.
What character, if you could pick any character, would you drop in there?
Probably, I mean, because I think he was so good as a character. Cobb Vanth, I'd love to see some Cobb Vanth in there.
Okay. I kind of have this feeling that you may see Ahmed Best's Jedi character in this.
That'd be cool. That would be really good.
I think he fits the kind of vibe of the program a little bit.
Yeah.
And it would be something that would connect Jude Law's Jedi back to the Jedi Temple a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, again, I've said this on previous episodes. I would like to see more Star Wars that isn't so Jedi centric.
Yeah. See, I kind of think we're going to end up with one of the kids has some kind of Force sensibilities. And that's my word of the week. Jude Law will maybe sense that in one of the kids. Maybe that's what attracts them to them as a group.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, is Jude Law's character, has he been described as being a Jedi? Is he Force sensitive? What are these magical powers that he's got?
Described as being a Jedi.
Yeah.
It's not clear whether he's going to be in the whole series. It kind of hints that he is, but
yeah,
he could be another one to take a blaster shot to the face. Maybe
in episode 1.
Maybe really what Neil is that Neil's the murderer.
Neil's got a bounty puck.
Phil Parker making a comment. As long as it's not episode after episode of flashback stories. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's danger. It could be that. It could be a little bit. Dangerous that it could try to do just a little bit too much.
Then they need to go back to a more linear format where the stories just run from the beginning to the end rather than flashback all over the place. There was certainly the Acolytes suffered massively from that, I think.
Partly Agatha all along did a great flashback episode this week, so it can be done well. No, I don't have Disney Plus at the moment. I have Disney Plus when Star Wars was on. It's a thing.
Well, I mean, I'll politely answer that by saying I'm glad you're enjoying it.
And then, if we're talking about TV, this is making me love this idea. A program called the Imperial HR Department. Think like The Office, but set within the ISB world. I would totally watch that.
That is genius. That needs to be made. Yes.
Why can't you have a Star Wars comedy show? Don't know why. Don't know why not.
That would be brilliant. Go on. We need to get that one promoted.
Yeah, we'll get that one. That one's on my wish list now.
Love it.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not convinced that Jude Law is going to make it through the whole of the series. He could be the character.
The MacGuffin.
He could be the MacGuffin. He could be the one that kicks it all off and saves the kids and sends them on their way and dies. And then it's left just as a four kids leading the whole thing.
Well, in about 48 days now, we'll see.
I think, yeah.
So, yeah.
We've got a name for the show now as well. I'm going to call it The Muffus. Yeah, that's a winner, I think.
This is too good not to develop. Okay.
One last thing you want from this program. What does a skeleton crew need to do to make it work?
It needs to have plenty of peripheral Star Wars content. It needs to visit planets. It needs to visit situations where we see some traditional Star Wars aliens that hark back to the 70s and the 80s. Stuff that we want to see Rhodians, we want to see Ithorians, we want to see Ponda Barbara-like creatures Aqualish rather. But we want to see real proper connections to the galaxy. It's all well and good bringing in new stuff, but
This
you
is agreed.
just
Space.
space, please. Yeah, space would be good. After all, it is Star Wars.
So I'm calling for 2 cameos, and I want Ahmed Best as his Jedi character.
Yeah.
And the other one, I think, if they're going to go to the same galaxy as we saw in Ahsoka, it should be set just before Ahsoka. So they arrive on that planet and they meet Ezra.
Right. Okay.
Ezra.
Okay. Now I want there to be like a side quest, an episode where they somehow end up at a Tatooine, and they meet up with Cobb Vanth and the Weequay that worked at the bar, and there'd be some significant thing that happens there. I mean, this could all be that they're trying to get Jude Law's character to find Ahmed Best.
Ideally, so episodes 5 and 6 are going to be the Christmas New Year episodes. So if you really want to deliver a great present for Christmas New Year, do what the Book of Boba Fett did. And
Mandalorian.
Just 2 episodes that are based on Andor. Andor rocks up for no particular reason. We're going to get 2 episodes of Andor for Christmas New Year. That would be brilliant.
You solved it.
Solved it. That's everything fixed. Mr. Newbold suggested an episode where they go out to buy some fruit.
Why not? They could take one of those bags for life with them then for that. That'd be good.
Freetown. There we go.
Yeah, Freetown. Thank you.
But yeah, it's it needs something left field, unexpected, in the same way that Luke appeared in The Mandalorian. I think just something, and that just a wow moment that makes you sit back and go, okay.
I think they'll struggle to top that, and I think the problem has been that everything that's happened since that end of season 2 of Mando, we've all been waiting for something massive to happen at the end of one of these.
That's why I think when you come back to the Dave Filoni project movie, has to effectively be Heir to the Empire, not necessarily following the story, but it needs to be Han, Luke, and Leia back together on some kind of adventure.
Please.
Because I'm at that point now where if you're going to do it and you're going to recast, let's just do it and go all the way.
Yeah. All in. Get your chips, swish them to the middle, and let's go all in. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's kind of like we need something left field to really make this series significant, because it just has this slow burn, horrible feeling that it's just going to be sort of wither away kind of thing. It's not going to get the publicity in the same way Solo did.
Yeah.
It's just going to appear and that'll be it.
Yeah. I think that where Mandalorian succeeded, and it was perhaps quite subtle, was that there was that Tatooine link to it. And I think if you can link back to some of the classic planets, that really helps just to sort of put you in, in the Star Wars zone. So if we go to some familiar planets, whether they've already happened in the classic films or if they've happened in some of the Disney Plus series, it just helps to underpin the Star Wars nature of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jabba's Court is part of Good Morning Tatooine, your weekly recap of all your latest Star Wars news. We stream every Sunday at 9 p.m. in the UK, 4 p.m. in New York. And you can also find videos at 7 p.m. on Wednesday on Father Tracks TV. And with that, let's get back to the news.
Let's get back to the news, indeed. Surprise.
We spoke about it a little bit already, but the Formula One have revealed the Alpine, BWT Alpine Formula One team have revealed their Indiana Jones livery for the US Grand Prix, which is racing as we speak. I believe it might just be about finished. This is promotion from Xbox for the game, coming from Bethesda, Indiana Jones in the Great Circle. It looks very nice, and we've got a little video which was beautifully shot and made as well that we can play whilst we talk about this. Now, You mentioned
You've pre-ordered this game, haven't you, bro?
I pre-ordered it, then I cancelled my pre-order in order to order the special edition one that comes with the little globe and the little artifact and all that rubbish for a ridiculous sum of money, an absolutely ridiculous sum of money.
But look at the promotion. I
think it was about 180 quid.
Yeah, this is getting the sort of promotion that I would have expected for something like Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, and this is and you know why this is? It's because these games can deliver billions in revenue.
Yeah,
and they can be bigger than movies. And Indiana Jones is one of these franchises that's not been touched in gaming in so long. And it's very much Tomb Raider-esque in that you can get a really wide base of people playing this game, far beyond fans of Indiana Jones. And that was that. Mr. Newbold, hot in the news there, letting us know that the Alpine cars are 12th and 18th at the moment. And as Mr. Newbold says, £180 for the globe, which is crazy, as we all know it should be flat. Oh, don't get me started. On flat earthers, it's a thing. Oh, dear.
These Alpine cars are running at 12th and 18th. Back in the day, we used to have the Alpine lorry deliver fizzy drinks to our house. Is it on the back of one of those?
Could well be.
That might be why it's so slow. That could be it. Yeah. Make mine a dandelion and burdock. Thank you.
Yeah. You wouldn't find me in an F1 car, that's for sure, going at the kind of speeds that they drive at. Like, no.
No, Bri, we might get you in it, but whether we get you out of it's another matter.
Yeah, that's true. There's other reasons why you wouldn't get me in it,
yeah. You're like a cork coming out of a bottle.
I just get abuse on this program. It's just terrible.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, it's nice. It's a unique kind of little tie-up. It's clever. Hands up to Xbox for doing that. And they're doing so much to promote this game. So yeah, I think you're right. Mark and Lucasfilm could learn a little bit from this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, and we were talking about this before the show. I think it was 2005 when Revenge of the Sith was coming out. They did a similar thing, if you remember. And I can remember seeing George Lucas walking around on the grid before the race started.
I haven't actually seen any behind the scenes from it, but George is obviously a huge F1 fan. He's always there in Monaco when it's in Monaco. I kind of hope he's there. And
I would imagine so. Yeah,
I would hope that he would be there, and I hope he gets to see it and he likes it. Kind of, so that's a cool thing for him to see. I think he'll be well chuffed.
It's quite subtle though, isn't it? It's not gonna.
It's very expensive, I guess, to get your name on the livery of anything. So
yeah,
you probably get more advertising from the promotion around it than you do from the actual car featured in the race. Yeah. Should we head to Japan for celebration?
Let's go for it.
Yeah, we've got a first guess.
Well, I mean, this is a great guest. I don't recall Galen. I don't recall Mads Mikkelsen doing a lot of signing. I think he's done the odd show or one or two, but for him to be going to Japan suggests all sorts of things to me. There are rumors circulating that Galen Erso will appear in the second season of Andor. He said acolyte of Andor, and that could be a reason why he's definitely going to be there, because there will be a lot of promotional material for the second season of Andor. When does that come out, Bright? Do you remember?
Next August is when I'm expecting it. I don't think there's been an official date given.
So that would tie in with.
Did LFCC, it was London Film and Comic Con for the. People not in the UK.
Cheers, Mark. Yeah, no, he's not done many at all. So this will be a significant appearance. And of course, we've got the Hot Toys 1/6 figure that's come out.
But just before I flick screen, I just want to make the point that if I was famous and I had to come up with a headshot, I would totally wear shades like that in
it. He's looking smooth there, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Chris is asking if we're going to do Japan. Have you decided, Paul?
I'm probably not. I've got a works project that kind of straddles Japan, so it's looking unlikely at the moment. I'd say there's a 10% chance, which is, that's more than I was hoping for at this time.
I'm
But yeah,
I'm still
what about
50-50.
yourself?
It's
You're
a very
50-50?
difficult time of year for me to get time off because
Yeah,
I'm an accountant and the tax year finishes on the 5th of April.
yeah.
So it's going to be touch and go whether I can get the time off. If I do it, it's going to be a short trip, which to Japan is just craziness. I've done
Yeah.
plenty crazy things before, so
Well,
once I did America for 6.5 hours.
that's great. That's brilliant. Now
So
that needs
6.5 hours
documentation.
and then back out of the country. I attended one meeting, then went back to Atlanta, did a tour of the Coca-Cola factory, and then went for my flight. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I've
even
done
more. I'm
stupid
even
things
more.
before. So I may do
I'm,
celebration. It may be a short trip to Japan.
I'm actually more impressed that it was for Coca-Cola. That's amazing.
Was they asked us on the tour what your favourite advert was, and everyone was labelling off what their favourite adverts was, and I described mine, only to find out afterwards it wasn't Coca-Cola. It was the other sugary drink brand.
Pepsi.
Yeah, it didn't go down well. It really didn't. It didn't even laugh. No, it really wasn't. Didn't go down well at all.
I'm guessing you only had the one invite.
Yeah, but I'll be going back. But you
Brilliant.
mentioned Hot Toys. And
Yeah.
of course, straight on the back of Mads Mikkelsen's announcement came Hot Toys revealed that they're going to be doing a worldwide exclusive Galen Erso figure, which is going to be available first in Japan. No news on the version. Could it be season 2 of Andor? That would be interesting.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. It could be, couldn't it? Yeah, yeah.
But
Um, I think because he's there, there is some significance to that. Definitely.
I like the
Yeah.
fact that they've announced a product at the same time as they announced a guest.
Yeah.
I kind of everything about this event is going to be smaller than your usual celebration, purely based
Yeah.
on logistics of the convention center and the fan base here. And obviously, they're trying to grow a fan base in Asia. That's Lucasfilm's long intended next marketplace it really wants to try and break. And so they're going to push hard, I think, in terms of what they're doing there. So I think you'll see less guests, but you'll maybe actually see more promotion around each individual guest, if that makes sense.
Do you think because of that, people will get more access to the guests? Do you think they'll get a little bit more time with them?
That's
Probably
always
not.
difficult to celebrate. I think that's the one thing you probably can't expect. That's
No.
when you do these small regional shows that you probably get that benefit, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Newell making a great point as well. If he does a season 2, it would make sense he's in his, I can never pronounce this, but
Edu
outfit. Yep. Chris also making a point. He's waiting for a Hot Toys. You could get a whole range of Andor Hot Toys potentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
It could be that that's going to be showcased at the same time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's also the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens as well. Not so interested in that.
But there's also obviously going to be quite a bit about Revenge of the Sith, isn't there? It will be the 20th anniversary.
Anniversary is coming up, but I kind of think it's going to be Andor focused. It's going to be the Mandalorian and Grogu focused. That's kind of the two big projects that are on the horizon, and it needs a roadmap. Star Wars needs a roadmap in terms of what we do in TV, what we do in films. Let's really commit. The last celebration, we kind of got announcements of 3 films. It's gone deadly quiet, I think, on pretty much.
Yeah,
really.
Which tends to make you think that perhaps some of them have been cancelled.
Yeah. Cancelled or in development hell, I think would be probably likely.
Yeah.
Return of the Sith 20th anniversary, Empire Strikes Back 45th anniversary. That year's lots of anniversaries, but I think they're going to try to look more forward than they are back. Yeah, that's a difficult one. It's
yeah. I think it's going to be an interesting celebration for those that do attend.
Yeah.
Whether it will live up to expectations, I think probably the trip to Japan will probably be greater.
Yeah, and Chris David
Yeah,
mentioned he misses Guy Henry's Tarkin, hoping to see him in season 2. I kind of have a gut feeling that we won't, just because of ongoing litigation out there with regards who's allowed to do what with regards to Tarkin character.
Yeah.
I think bringing in Krennic is the substitute for Tarkin.
But he should have really been in addition to, not just a substitute for, because it was great to see Tarkin in Rogue One,
Yeah.
which actually got spoiled to me by the editor of the newspaper that I was working at the time, when I said, "Oh, I'm off out to see Rogue One tonight for the midnight screening." Oh, isn't it amazing that they put Tarkin in it? Yeah, I hadn't heard at that stage. It was literally spoiled just a few hours before I saw it, but still, never mind. But yeah, but you're right. I think because of the legal issues that are being bounced around at the moment, sadly, I don't think we will see Tarkin in there. He might get referred to, but I don't think we'll see him.
Yeah. New York Comic Con's ongoing, or probably just finished. And we're getting lots of announcements. We're going to focus on the literature announcements this week. We'll do the toys next week's show. Because there's so much news to get through, we're going to rattle through this quite quick, I think. First up, Fan Home have announced that they're bringing out a Star Wars Darth Vader build-up model. So probably every week over 80 weeks, you're going to get a little bit of Darth Vader.
It's a nice idea, but it's going to be expensive to do it, isn't it?
It is. You're going to pay a ridiculous amount of money where you could have got probably a Hot Toys Darth Vader for less. Generally, you find it ends up costing you pretty much close to £1,000 to do these things. Mark's saying 90 weeks. Is that official? I'll run with it. If Mark's saying it's 90 weeks, that's probably about right. You're gonna pay 90 quid's probably £4 per issue, probably.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, expensive. It's a lot of money. You have to factor in the enjoyment, if you can get it, of building something each week and building something of your own. If that's not for you, if all you're interested in is the end product, these things aren't for you at all. There's better ways to achieve the same end result, I think.
I'd go out and buy a Hot Toys Vader rather than that.
Yeah,
personally, but I probably haven't got the patience to build it anyway.
Yeah. Chris David Mikkelsen, all the Hot Toys Vaders are either on waiting list or sold out. There you go. So you're going to have to build it if you want one.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe Chris has got one. He'll sell me. Yeah, there you go.
3 foot tall Vader, though. Where are you going to put that? That's pretty chunky big.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a decent size, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's a 2-year project, so you have to understand you're not going to have a dining room table for 2 years, and it's going to cost you a lot of money.
And for whatever reason, two copies of it don't arrive at your house, and they're the most important ones.
But if you can take great photos of it, if you look at the one on the left, if you look on the one on the right, it looks odd. I don't know. It just doesn't work for you. One on the left works, one on the right doesn't. I'm probably going to do this because I've done the Falcon, I've done R2D2.
Really, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, I'm thinking, why not?
Will this work with the same scale as the R2?
R2 is about dustbin size.
Possibly then, yeah.
It'd be probably slightly bigger than R2.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perspective doesn't work. Kind of agree. But yeah. It'll be pretty accurate, I think. Mr. Newbuild's got a 3 foot Jack specific Vader.
Yeah, I've got that as well. Yeah, I've got that one. Yeah.
It's interesting. Next up, out of New York, Marvel announced Jedi Knights, a new comic series that they're bringing out, written by Mark Guggenheim, who did the Han Solo series, the Chewbacca series, and the Yoda series. And drawn by, I hate this because I'm going to butcher someone's name, Madabek Musabekov. I think that's not too bad.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Whose art does look fantastic. And it's all set round about the prequel series, Phantom Menace kind of thing, all the Jedi from that era. You can see them there all on the cover. Everyone from Yoda to Yaddle and everyone in between. And it promises to introduce some new Jedi as well that we don't know from that era.
I like the look of this because this is an era that we don't get a lot of stuff from these days.
Yeah. They're also going to have some lightsaber foil variant covers as well.
Yeah.
From Torrin Clark, you can see there some lovely one of Yoda as well. Coming in March 2025.
Not long.
And then in the main publishing panel, there was a whole stack of reveals, and we'll burst through them really quickly. Get a little look at some of the Jedi Knights of the High Republic.
Yeah.
As the Trial of the Jedi's sub-series continues.
Have you read much on the High Republic, Brian?
I have, and I've lost track of where I'm at. There's so much content, I couldn't keep up with it, to be honest. I'm still collecting it, and I will get to it eventually.
Yeah, I've still not wandered down that path yet.
Yeah. Author Justina Ireland has got her new middle grade novel coming out as well, Valiant Vow. For the adults, Claudia Gray comes back to the main line. I said for the adults, it's not. It's her first young adult book. There we go. I'm just reading the notes there just now, and I'm like, oh, it's not for the adults. I expected it to be. It's a great looking cover. Into the Light is going to be coming from her. If you're a fan of The Acolyte, you'll be delighted to know that The Crystal Crown, a young adult book from Tessa Grattan, is on its way. I picked up that whilst The Acolyte was on the air, everything High Republic was being marked as being from the same era as the Acolyte TV show. They've now swapped it around, so The Acolyte is being promoted as part of the High Republic era, and I wonder if that's just to capture an audience that the TV show didn't capture.
I think so. I think it's to give that more relevance. Yeah.
Hashtag Yord Horde, I believe, is what the kids say on this cover. Two of the best characters, actually, from The Acolyte, in fairness, for that novel.
Yeah.
We've got cover art here for issue 2 of the High Republic main series as well. And Random House Worlds audio original novel Tempest Breaker by Cavan Scott. There's also cover art for that was revealed. These audiobooks have actually been some of the highlights of the High Republic series, I think. And everything Cavan Scott's done in the world of audiobooks has been fantastic, even if you go back and listen to some of his Doctor Who stuff. Lydia Kang is going to continue her short stories in Star Wars Insider. Again, it's going to be High Republic based. And Dark Horse Comics as well. Charles Soule coming back in the writing on that with the Star Wars the High Republic Adventure Annual.
That's interesting to see Dark Horse Comics doing something.
Yeah, they've got the license for all the young people comics. So if Marvel have the adult comics, Dark Horse are now doing the young person's comics and doing a range of graphic novels in that as well. Much like this one's for Grievous and Mace Windu. These are both going to be original graphic novels.
Nice.
Also getting his own original graphic novel is Qui-Gon Jinn.
Cool.
And from a much earlier era as well, so you get a young apprentice in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And also when he was the Padawan of Count Dooku himself. Interesting.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Friend of the show, Ethan Sachs. He's been on our Cannon Fodder podcast as well. has got a Poe Dameron miniseries on the way.
Nice.
It's also going to feature BB-8. So,
and the suitcase.
And fans of the Bad Batch as well. The stories are going to continue as well with more Bad Batch hyperspace stories. I love these giant art pieces that we get when they do the New York Comic Con. And we've got a connecting 4-issue cover for the High Republic Adventures, issues 14 to 17. So if you collect all those issues, you can make up this giant display here.
Nice.
And you can color it. High Republic Adventures. We're having a wedding. Lulu and Zine. You won't know who Lulu and Zine are, but they're getting married.
No, cool.
Yeah, you're invited to the wedding. You can find out in that issue. What else have we got? Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone. Cameron Scott, Daniel Josie Older, Alyssa Wong. I've got tales in this as well. So all part of the High Republic Adventure series. And Justina Ireland will be bringing her character of Variant of the High Republic Adventures as well. And a series that I've loved that Cameron Scott did, which is perfect for Halloween. They're bringing out Vader's Castle, the Deluxe Library Collection. Vader's Castle, brilliant series from Cavan. And that is everything out of New York Comic Con. Lots of comics.
That's a lot of literature. Loads of literature going on there.
I'm going to scroll back and just check out some of the comments. Mr. Newbold mentioned that the Dark Horse reveals are posted on the site this evening as well. So I had them on the show. So you've seen them, but you can head over to fantatrax.com if you want to see them in greater detail.
Yeah.
Chris mentioned he highly recommends reading the High Republic. And Phil Parker saying, I think everyone agrees, keeping track of the junior, teen, and adult range is hard enough. That is the biggest weakness of the High Republic, is keeping track of everything. Mr. Newbold pointing out the problem, Dark Horse stuff is so hard to get in the UK. We all know the reason for that. Titan have the license that covers young person's comics in the UK. So Dark Horse can't publish their comics in the UK that they've got in America. They've tried for years and years and years to resolve this licensing issue, but they just can't resolve it. And Titan have it in perpetuity, so it's not going to go away and not going to be solved anytime soon, I don't think.
So you're only going to be able to get it as an import then?
Yes, but if you go to some of the bigger retailers like Forbidden Planet, you can set up a subscription with them because they've got an account with a partner store in America, so they can get stuff that way. So there is ways to do it.
Do they add much on in terms of expense? Or?
Not if you're doing it the subscription way, on the basis that they can get it shipped to them along with everything else that they're getting in. So it's not like you're paying a huge premium for them doing it. Mr. Newbold making the comment that the Acolyte story is now part of the literature world, and that might be the way that it continues, or in animation. Chris is happy for more Acolyte stuff. And there is a place for it as well. Everything's got its own place. We need more Jackson. Anytime Cavan Scott gets mentioned in comics, it's definitely going to need more Jackson.
We definitely need more Jackson. Yeah.
Mark Newbold liked the artwork, and that was a 4-piece artwork that we saw there.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a massive mural, so that'd be really nice. Yeah.
And the best name in the comments there, Mando Number 5. That's a genius name. Good evening to you as well. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Keith.
We're pretty much there. We've covered all the news. It's gone.
We got there, Bri. We got there.
I said it was going to be a long show.
You did.
And
we're almost back on form.
Ending on a bad note here, almost, because Mark Newbold just said we need the Jackson.
Jackson 5. Oh, hey, I tell you what.
We've got a few little videos still to come. Still got a little bit to come. But we're pretty much at the end of the show. obviously, we want you all to be following fathertracks.com, where you can get all your daily news from every possible avenue of Star Wars. We get interviews, event coverage, podcasts, and reviews as well over there. And Paul, and you can find us on social media too.
We've got social media. We've got social media galore, Brian. You know, people can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X, and TikTok, amongst others.
And if you are following our social media, you'll know that our social media manager, Matt Booker's on a trip to Florida at the moment. Here's some of the content he's sending back on social media. This is from Acme Superstore, which is a huge store in Longwood, Florida, which has just got miles and miles of Star Wars content, every single thing you can imagine. So if you want to see what Matt's up to on his travels around the state of Florida, every toy store will be visited, I'm sure. You can find it all there. Some even retro stuff there as well. So
that's impressive.
Definitely somewhere to check out, isn't it?
Yeah, some nice old stuff in there. Yeah,
definitely. And
looks like my office.
Panther Tracks Radio as well.
Yeah, don't forget, we've got all these different shows, and they all, when are they released, Brian? Fridays?
Fridays. If Mr. Newbold's on schedule, there should be one out every Friday.
So there's we've got loads of different shows on rotation, and we've always got episodes of Making Tracks coming out. But yeah, have a look on your favorite podcatcher of choice, and you're bound to find it.
Last week, so that was great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, always go and have a look at those and see. Well, you can go back into the archives and find some episodes from way back, but there's always new stuff coming out.
And Mr. Newbold letting us know in the comments there that Start Your Engines is this coming Friday. Did you know that, Paul?
It's recorded, thankfully.
Oh, it's recorded. You've done your bit. You've done your bit.
No, we have done that
one. Keith as well saying that the shop looks like his collection room.
Yes, absolutely. Looks a little bit like my office at the moment, but yeah.
Phil Parker's asking, what vehicle are you talking about on Friday?
We are talking about the sail barge and the skiffs.
Excellent. And of course, Panther Tracks TV, which you're watching just now. You should always be watching Panther Tracks TV. Look out for lots of new content. You're going out of focus, Paul, there a little bit, so it must be time to end the show.
Oh my God. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back in the back. Paul, pleasure to have you joining me again this week. Covered all the news. We'll be back next week, same time for a whole lot more. I imagine it's going to start warming up nicely for the skeleton crew, it feels like. So, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Excellent. See you all next week, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us.
Bye all.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on FanthaTracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at Fantha Tracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow Panther Tracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.